Donald Trump is losing it on Thursday morning as Americans refuse to submit to his authoritarian terroristic tactics. Donald Trump is now threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act or potentially to declare martial law, regardless of whether he invokes the Insurrection Act or declares martial law. Let's face it, he's basically doing the same thing by sending the ICE and Border Patrol to terrorize Minneapolis and St. Paul and so many other cities around this country. Here's what Donald Trump posted moments ago. He goes, if the corrupt politicians in Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, DJT. So this is what he's wanted from the outset, to provoke, to terrorize. They were throwing the gas agents and shooting the pepper spray and pepper balls and harassing the peaceful communities there. Then they want to create the conditions so they can say Insurrection Act, and they want to do this in all blue states and blue cities before the midterms. Part of this is to distract from the Epstein files and the cover-up of the largest child sex trafficking ring that the DOJ is involved in. And the other part of this is we're heading into the midterms, and I think Trump wants to kind of shut down the elections in blue states from taking place. Now, while that is going on, we showed you video this morning that we were able to uncover at the MeidasTouch network of this party that's been taking place at Mar-a-Lago, where the people are wearing these dog masks. Remember the movie Eyes Wide Shut? Some have said, well, apparently Eyes Wide Shut was a movie about Mar-a-Lago and Jeffrey Epstein, because if you look at what was taking place, eerie photos of people at Mar-a-Lago wearing dog masks, engaging in debauchery as the American people are suffering, as Americans can't afford groceries, as grocery prices in December were the highest they've been in many, many, many years as inflation continues to go up. And what the Trump regime is now saying, in addition to saying they're going to invoke the Insurrection Act or declare martial law, is that Americans should be happy if they just get to eat one piece of chicken, one piece of broccoli, and one corn tortilla. And you may be saying, what are you even talking about? Well, the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, said that really what Americans should just be eating is just one piece of each, just like you should maybe have $1, $2, maybe one pencil. This is how the Trump regime wants to distribute its resources as part of the government control. Doesn't this sound familiar? Let's play this clip of Brooke Rollins. Play this clip.
I think the question you're asking, and it's a really important one, is while we're asking Americans to reconsider what they're eating, are we actually asking Americans, especially those who are living on the margins, are we asking them to spend more on their diet? And the answer to that is no. We've run over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to do this that actually will save the average American consumer money.
You've done the analysis on that, because that's one of the criticisms I heard from some, nutrition folks who said, like with the event you mentioned, all the protein, saying, all right, well, steak, obviously, it's expensive. So are you asking people to spend more money with these new dietary guidelines than in the past? Do you say no?
That's right. And the answer to that is absolutely no. Now, there are, as most things are coming down, there are a few outliers. Beef has been one of them, but ground beef is coming down. But here's the real.
Now, going back to the Trump regime invoking the Insurrection Act, you had Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security Secretary, saying that they're only going to increase the ICE and Border Patrol presence in Minnesota, and that they are considering now the Insurrection Act there. Play this clip.
Do you think any plans to pull out of Minnesota?
No plans to pull out of Minnesota.
How would you describe what you were seeing on the ground there? Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I describe it as violent, and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department and different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets.
More from Kristi Noem right here.
Right here.
Do you think that there needs to be an Insurrection Act invoked?
Oh, I think that the president has that opportunity in the future. It's his constitutional right, and it's up to him if he wants to utilize it.
Do you think he's likely to do it?
I don't know.
But if he does do it,
While that's taking place, Donald Trump sent his other sycophant stooges to do media hits this morning. Randy Fine, a MAGA Republican, was on state regime media known as Newsmax, and they were talking about again, America withdrawing from NATO and America invading Greenland, and how great it would be if America invaded Greenland. Here, play this clip.
Oh, I want to talk a little bit more about that. And if we take Greenland, can we get out of NATO and stop paying, $50 billion a year?
Well, the fact of the matter is NATO needs the United States a lot more than the United States needs NATO. Greenland is part of the Western Hemisphere. It is not part of Europe. And it is all that stands between us and Russian forces that could seek to inflict damage on our country, and Russian and Chinese trade routes where they're up to nefarious activities. We have seen what happened in Venezuela when bad people take over a country that used to be an ally. We cannot allow the same thing to happen in Greenland. So Greenland should be part of the United States, and my bill simply lines Congress up to stand behind the president as he takes the appropriate actions to protect the United States.
Then you had MAGA Republican Senator Roger Marshall, and he was talking about how a health care package is coming this Friday. Just you wait. That's when the Republicans are going to come up with their health care. Just give us a few more days or a few more weeks. Play this clip.
My focus is the economy right now and bringing down the cost of living. President Trump is talking about that he's going to announce a major health care package here on Friday. He's working on housing. We're working together on credit cards, bringing down interest rates, bringing down the cost. Every time you use that swipe fee, we're focused on that. The elections will take care of themselves.
You have other MAGA Republicans talking about Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, and that's really what we need to be focusing on with Epstein are the Clintons. Just release the files. Just release the damn files. Here, play this clip.
They tend to move the goalposts on these things quite a bit for whatever the political purpose is at that moment. One thing that was interesting in the letter they submitted to us was they mentioned the Clinton Foundation, which kind of opens up a whole nother can of worms in the sense of where we might have to go to find information, potentially working with investigating people who work for the Clinton Foundation to try to get this information. This is all just about trying to get the information we need to get the truth for the American people.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know Republicans have been wanting to look under the hood of the Clinton Foundation for many, many years. All right, Congressman Michael Cloud, thank you for joining.
Then while all of this is taking place earlier this morning, here's what Donald Trump posted. Fox News, he's citing Fox News. You're the president of the United States. Maybe you should just speak with moral and formal clarity. But he goes, Fox News says, Iranian protesters will no longer be sentenced to death after Trump's warnings. Likewise, others. And then Trump goes, this is good news. Hopefully it will continue. Okay. Hopefully it will continue. You promised the Iranian people on January 2nd that if a single protester was killed, that America would intervene. That was the message. We will go in guns a-blazing if Iran kills one protester. Words have meaning, especially from the President of the United States. With that commitment, more protesters showed, and based on various reports, the slaughter of these protesters is in the thousands by the Ayatollah. Maybe in the low thousands, could be as high as 20,000 protesters slaughtered. We don't have a number. And now you're citing Fox News saying, good news, everybody. Fox News is saying that Iran is not going to kill people anymore, and we should trust that. What's really going on behind the scenes is that Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and others are lobbying Trump, do not strike Iran. New York Times just wrote a report on this, that if you did a regime change or you destabilized Iran, which is already destabilized, that will leak into all of the other regimes. It will, Saudi Arabia is no fan of Iran, right? But it would impact the stability of Saudi Arabia, is how they feel. And all of the neighbors are saying, don't do that. And then Iran has threatened that if there's an attack on Iran by the United States, Iran wouldn't just launch ballistic missiles into Qatar like it did last time, or into Israel like it did last time. It will launch rockets, and it will launch ballistic missiles into Saudi Arabia and Turkey and other areas where there are U.S. bases. So these countries have told Donald Trump, don't do this attack yet. And it seems based on that, Donald Trump has so far decided not to do it. It should be also noted as well, the conflict between Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates is heating up. And I just want to put this on your radar now, because I've been talking about it before. They have had these skirmishes in Yemen where Saudi Arabia's accused the UAE of backing separatist groups in areas of Yemen, and engaged in military force in Yemen around where the UAE troops were. And so there's big conflict there. And they used to kind of work together in Yemen. And now we're seeing some real serious divisions develop. Not that they were perfectly cohesive before. I don't want to overly simplify geopolitical matters, but a conflict between Saudi Arabia and UAE is escalating. So when you take a snapshot globally right now, with attacks by Russia on Ukraine, of course, increasing, more attacks there. As you look at what's happening between Thailand and Cambodia, Congo, and if you look at what's happening in Congo and Rwanda, if you look at what's happening, obviously, in Venezuela, Trump propping up Delcy Rodriguez, the authoritarian there. If you look at all of the, India, Pakistan, China asserting itself via Taiwan, there's a much less stable international environment right now. And of course, the U.S. threatening to invade Greenland, all of that. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe, help us get to 6 million subscribers, and we appreciate you so much.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.